All right. According to this, we're live. We should be going pretty soon. I think there are probably a few folks already who are starting to stream us. But I'm Sage over here, and Jason is in Canada, and he's sitting in his bus right now. And we've been doing this for I don't know, 6, 7, 8 weeks now. That we kind of worked together and have these conversations. We did them in person for a while under a project called the Texas Bus Rescue and the Minnesota Bus Rescue, when he and I went and kind of collected a couple of buses. He had bought a bus, I bought a bus, and we went and got them together. And so we would always do a Sunday Night Live, just kind of let everybody know what's going on with our projects. And as a result, we were able to kind of do that. We decided that once we finished, we'd check in with each other, because he lives in Canada, I live in Traverse City, Michigan, and so we just felt it would be a kind of a neat way to see how things are going. So that's what we're doing right now. And here's I'm trying to get our video up. There it is. Skip ads. All right, so now we're here. If you want to, do you want to monitor chat? Can you do that?
Yeah, I can do that. I've got it up on my phone here, so I can do that.
Jason?
Can you hear me?
Hey, Jason, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Oh, let's see. Did I hit mute? Nope. You muted yourself, dude. You have to unmute. It says you're mute. By the way, without fail, we haven't had
on your end.
We haven't had a single. Here, try now. Hey, Jason, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me now? I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Sure. Let's see. Did I hit mute? Nope. You muted yourself, dude. You have to unmute. Oh, this is that weird thing we did the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a loop back going. The viewers say they can hear me. So I don't know what feed you just turned on, but turn it back off, because they say they can hear me and you've got a loop back going. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So,
got a loop back going.
Do we? I think we're done now.
Okay. Are we good now?
Yeah, I think we're good now.
Oh, sorry, folks. The viewers say they can hear me. So I don't know what feed you just turned on, but turn it back off, because they say they can hear me and you've got a loop back going.
No, I did have a loop for a while. I had to mute one of our things. So, do we? I think we're done now. Guys, for those who listen to our... Yeah, I think we're good now.
Sorry, folks.
For those who watch our feed, have we ever not messed up the beginning?
Go look at your microphones off the feeds. You've got that little box with all the microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's echoing on your end somewhere. It's so.
There we go. Hang on. Guys, for those who listen to our... For those who watch our feed, there we go. Have we ever not messed up the beginning?
Go look at your microphones off the feeds. You've got that little box with all the microphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's echoing on your end somewhere. It's so.
Okay. Now, how's that?
How's that? Are we back?
We should be back now. We should, yeah, because I'm talking and I hear you. How's that? Try talking, Jason.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You should be able to see in OBS. You should be able to see the microphone levels. Okay, we're good now.
Yeah, we're good now. So what basically happened was I had a YouTube window open to read comments, but can you read comments for us? Because I can't.
Yeah, absolutely. I got it on my phone right here, so we're good.
All right. So that's what it was. Is we were playing. You were hearing the playback from YouTube, and all right. Well, anyway, so I'm Sage. He's this guy over here is that guy is Jason, and he's in Ontario. I'm in Michigan, and we technically mess up the beginning of every one of them. This was a new one though. This was a lot different than the last one we had. This one was feedback. It was actually cooler. The last one we just were really echoey. It's all perspective.
Yeah, I'm being told we've got an echo again, so check your feeds again to make sure you haven't got a double feed.
So I do, but you won't be able to hear me if I mic so I can mute that. Now you try talking.
Yeah, my phone volume's off, so it's not coming from my end.
Okay, there, I fixed it. We were playing back your Skype, so we should be good right now. You talk, I talk. Try talking.
Good.
Okay. So let's get into what's been going on. I'll let you start because I've got some slides loaded up for us to look at. And
Sure.
Why don't you explain what we're seeing here?
Tell me what you got on the screen.
Well, it's a picture of your bus with a big yellow airplane.
The big yellow airplane. Oh, that would be my Friday fun day, get out of quarantine. So decided to go celebrate a little bit. So we took the bus down to the airport, and that's a 1946 Piper J3 Cub. And that's one of the airplanes that I fly frequently, and it's a load of fun. And I thought it was kind of fitting to go fly it because it's a 1946, so it's vintage. It's a similar vintage to the bus.
Okay.
And it's a very simple airplane to fly, and it's an absolute blast. It's like a big kite.
So, Jason, you got to talk a little louder, and that isn't something I can adjust.
You might be able to turn up the gain on my feed in OBS.
But we're using the same feed, so I'll try. But
okay, I'll just try. I'll just speak up a bit then.
Yeah, because that'll make me louder too.
Okay.
Yeah, I can turn it up a little bit, but okay. So, so did you actually get up and flying?
Yeah, I got up. I did some local circuits. I flew around the airport a couple times, and man, did it feel good to get back in the air after all that time being on the road. Because normally I fly every week, and I was, how many days were we? 36 days. So I was five and a half weeks away from home. Plus I had to quarantine for 2 weeks, so I was almost 8 weeks that I was not able to go fly the planes. And as I said, it's something I do on a regular basis, so quite missed it.
All right, you're gonna have. You are pretty quiet to me as well. I can try turning you up. Try that. Try talking now.
How's that? Is that any better?
That might help.
Yeah. If you go into the individual mic gains in OBS, you can actually manually input a number or turn up my gain.
Oh, I know, but we have to share the Skype audio source, or we get that echo.
Okay.
So I can't adjust you, but I just tried something that hopefully will work. All right. So so the next thing here is Rodney is wondering how we can be sitting 3 inches apart and not get COVID.
Well, that's because we're about, I don't know, 300 miles apart.
Yeah.
Crow flies.
Well, that's true. So now, second shot I have here is a picture of a really interesting K554 next to your bus.
Oh, you've got the runner bus up on your screen then.
Yes.
So, Yeah, John brought the renter bus down the next day on the Saturday, so we had the two buses back out at the same airport. We took some pictures. I did a little video. That'll be if you watch my channel, you'll see some shots of that in my channel. We should have another video that we're posting up tonight. That's Bus with Us for those of you that don't follow. That's funny. I can see what your internet feed. Not sure what you got on your screen there now, but
Well, now the next one is it's actually a shot, I think, of both buses from the back. And one of the things that I noticed is that the runner bus doesn't have the actual stop sign that is the one that's been reproduced. Is that the case, or is that he just had it painted black, the stop black?
the stop, it is a reproduction one, but the letters stop have actually been painted black so that they stand out. And that's how they are in the original ones. They're black.
Okay. All right. So now the next one's a picture, and I don't think you've ever had a picture of Angie before, but a picture of your Volkswagen and some camping.
Oh, that's at the campground. Yeah, we went to a campground. I took my wife for an overnight camping trip. We went up to Pinery. It's a provincial park near Grand Bend, Ontario. It's quite a nice scenic area. It's a massive park. I think the park itself is about I think it's about 10 kilometers long along the beach there, and there's all kinds of hiking trails and biking trails. Lots of beach. Like there's 10 different beaches. If you want to go off by yourself, you go out to one of the other beaches at the far end, and it's quite scenic and it's quite quiet. It's a really nice place if you ever get the chance to see it.
So did you just take your LT, or did you take your bus too, or?
No, we took the LT because the bus isn't ready for camping yet. So we took the LT, and it's obviously a Westphalia type camper, so it's well equipped, and off we went.
So now it's another one, just a shot of yours at night. It looks like you got all the running lights up and going.
I've got every exterior light on this bus working now, and they all work properly. They light up properly. Destination sign lights up, as you can see there. And I had to get all that done for the technical inspection for the safety. I've been spending this week, I basically concentrated on getting everything ready for the safety inspection, because that I think is going to happen tomorrow, and then we should be good to go to get it licensed.
So when is the inspection happening now? You got to be pretty close.
My temporary permit expires tomorrow, so hopefully it gets done tomorrow. Otherwise, I could be kind of euchred if we're moving it around. I'll just have to bring it to where it needs to be inspected and leave it there till it gets done.
Okay, all right. And so what's the inspection date?
Hang on, it just started raining really hard here, so the rain on the roof of the bus makes it hard to hear you.
Oh. Yeah, it's been raining here all day. It just gave up about an hour and a half ago. But
okay.
It's been crummy all week, and you're getting basically what we had, so it's going to pour for probably the next 4 or 5 hours. So
yeah, I just turned my volume up a little bit, so hopefully it doesn't echo. We'll see if that works okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Okay.
So Rodney was wondering if the runner bus has a functioning step. It does, doesn't it?
It does, but it's really, really stiff. That's one of the things actually John's asked me to help him with, is we're going to have a look at it and see if we can get it working properly. It takes like 3 hands to get the step to go out, like 2 on the handle and 1 on the door. So John hasn't been using it, and he's got a nice big stainless steel metal step that he sets on the ground right now. But that we're going to get into that. We'll get that fixed. It's one of the things on the list.
All right. So somebody said the lower right marker light doesn't seem to work. That's actually the turn signal that you're seeing in this photo, and that he's got his right turn signal on. That's why you see it illuminated. So that's where the turn signals are. So now that one 90-degree bend, it looks like you remember we talked about just getting a regular hose and bending it. You have a photo of that?
Is that the are those the heater hose ones from underneath? Is that the picture you've got?
I guess that's what it is. Is the heater hose?
Yeah, remember those rubber couplers that are at the back of the bus?
The
back of the engine.
They're all over the place. Yeah.
Well, specifically the little ones, we shut off the heater core, and we didn't replace those. So I've got some show and tell here. So that's the original piece that came out of my bus. And as you can see, the rubber couplers, I didn't even have to do anything other than grab this piece and yank it out of the bus. I'm lucky it didn't fall off on the trip home. The couplers are so rotten. So this is what the couplers are supposed to look like. They've got a metal flange and a rubber seal around here, and a rubber connector. So this one's actually a brand new one. You can actually see it's still got a parts tag on it. And I found this in my bus when I was cleaning it out. So basically what you do is you cut the flanges off and put a nipple on so you can put a regular hose. So I found some spare pieces that were in my bus, so I was actually able to, I didn't have to cut the original piece to make pieces to clamp onto. So I still have the original piece, which I guess it's a museum piece now. I'm never going to use it. And I actually found one of the main radiator couplers, a brand new one of them too. So whoever was running this bus obviously used to carry spares. So if you've got a Silverside and you're brave enough to still run these rubber couplers, get in contact with me. I've got a couple for you because I'm never going to use them.
Okay, well, that's this seems to look like it's going to work. The one you did. Now you also have a picture of, what is this? Is this your? This isn't your thermostat. What is this black, oily thing that you sent me a picture of?
Black oily thing that I sent you a picture of. Are you looking at the hose?
No, this looks. It's not your It's not the thermostat coupling, is it? The thermostat housing.
You're probably looking at the picture from underneath the bus. I was just showing the hose that I used. I used a 90-degree hose with a second bend in it.
This is a part. This is a part sitting on your bench, and it looks like a.
Oh, the wiper motor.
Oh, that's your wiper motor. Okay, yeah, that's why I didn't recognize it. I haven't seen one of these.
YouTube feed is delayed, so by the time it gets to me, it takes like about 20 seconds. So now I can see it. That's my wiper motor. So I ended up having to tear into my wiper system. I took my motors apart. I cleaned all the old caked out grease out of them because they were just completely jammed up. One of the shafts was completely seized on the support piece, and I ended up having to go redo one of the air lines to the wiper motor. I had to pull the valves apart in the dash and put new O-rings in them. So it was a big ordeal. I ended up spending an entire day just screwing around with my wipers. Again, that's a video that's coming on my channel, so if you can follow my channel, there'll be more information about that. I actually show pictures and a video of the entire wiper motor dismantled on the workbench. So if you want to see how that works, you might find that interesting.
So what are you going to do? Are you going to get these rebuilt?
No, they're okay the way they are. I got to get a gasket kit because of where I opened them up. They're leaking a little bit around the gaskets because I just reused the gaskets for now. But they seem to be working fine. So I think I'm just going to leave them as they are for now and see how they do.
All right. Well, so let's see what else we got. Well, all right. So the next picture that I'm bringing up is actually one of mine, and it's sort of my dilemma that I have right now. By the way, comment that that somebody wanted to make, and I wholeheartedly agree that the reason why Canada is so beautiful is it's attached to Michigan. Anyway, so I've got a picture of a couple of shots of my my bus when the last video you had was me driving around, and man, it drove me crazy how much smoke's coming out of this thing. We adjusted the rack, we adjusted the governor, and this thing is blowing blue smoke like crazy. And I thought after what 1,700 miles we wouldn't have any more problems with it. And I still have problems with it. And
yeah, my guess is the oil rings are cooked.
Yeah, that it's just either we overheated it on the way home, or that it's just a tired engine. So that leaves me with a dilemma, and I'll show you. I ended up having a chance to, as a matter of fact, last Sunday I went on by myself because you were out camping and you couldn't get a signal. I talked about this motor that I went and looked at. And so if you'll see it in the screen here in a sec, but basically what it boils down to is this thing is a 671. It is a rebuild, but it's an old rebuild. So it was probably rebuilt in late 80s into the 90s. The problem that I have, one of the cool things about it, if you look at it, is it's got the water manifold that gave us so much trouble. It's sitting there, and it's the proper one for a Silversides bus. The problem with it is, if you take a look, is one side is really designed for a fan, and we would have to dismantle that end of. We'd basically have to take the end of the engine off and put a Silversides, kind of take that off of my engine and put it on the one side, and then the back is looks like it's okay. The blower looks a lot rougher than mine in terms of it, but it's
Well, you'd swap your blower over to that motor because yours is a fresh rebuild on the blower. So
well. So
all
is
the
this?
accessories.
This is a rebuilt motor. Um,
Yeah.
it's got a screw-on oil. I mean, it's got a lot of things that I like about it. The problem is that the bell housing on the one end is for a 4104, and the whole assembly on the other end isn't really designed for my style
No,
fan.
the whole mount on the driver's side's got to get changed.
Right. So that's a problem. I mean, and so I had talked to Scott about it a bit, and he's like, look, he said, you're going to have a lot of time just taking the ends apart. So he's urging for an in-frame, just change out in other words, drive it down. He and I work on it together and get that done, get the water manifold, because we'll obviously be pulling the head, so we could get the water manifold, easy access to all of that, get all that mess cleaned up in the back. With all the JB weld and everything, and get it put back together. And he said, a couple of days, 3 days to do it. And I'm perplexed. I like it's a shiny engine. If we
Yeah,
don't.
but if you paint yours, you steam pressure wash it that you've done before, and then you can paint it after you're done rebuilding it. I mean, that's not a big deal. You can make yours look pretty.
Well, so that's where I am, and I haven't gotten back to this guy whose engine it is. I know we've got a friend of ours who is interested in it. If I don't take it, I'll send it over to him. But basically, it's
If your head has any cracks, you won't know till you take it off. But if your head had any cracks in it, then I'd probably go snag that other engine.
yeah. But yeah. For what I'm getting for that engine, I guess it would be cheaper than a head. I don't think we cracked the. I don't think that we cracked the head. I hope we didn't crack the head.
No, I don't think so because you'd be having overheating problems and you'd be having other issues by now.
So a question that we had is what's the cost in rebuilding? So there's two different ways to rebuild a 671 engine. One is a frame out where you actually take it out like this, like you see it in the picture here. You take the whole thing apart. I mean, I've read the process. If you went like the way that a Detroit diesel dealer would rebuild an engine, they would basically take it, dismantle it. They would basically hot tank the block and hot tank the head. They would clean everything thoroughly, get everything off, then thoroughly inspect it, make sure there's no cracks anywhere, and then build it back up with a fresh rebuilt crankshaft and new rods and lifters and blah 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 blah. And so basically you're getting almost a brand new engine. It's just that the block is probably run before. An in-frame, which is the other way, and there's Scott's got lots of videos of him doing this, basically entails pulling the head off, which if you see the manifold, the two kind of pieces that are sticking out, those are the exhaust manifolds. Basically from that point up is the head on this engine. And so you would basically remove that, and then you would be basically getting in to the bottom end as well. You'd take off it's just the oil pan down there. Is there something else underneath the oil pan?
There's two support bars you got to take off. That's not a big deal. You drop the oil pan, and it's a fairly good process to do an in-frame because of the way the sleeves come out on a 671. It's not like you're having to worry about reboring the engine. So I'm kind of along the Scott camp. I think if your crank is good, there's no reason to pull the engine out unless you want to completely detail everything behind and redo everything. I mean, it's a big job to pull that engine, and it's a big job to swap everything over. So I think I agree with Scott that unless there's something really wrong with your block when you tear into it, I would probably rebuild and do an in-frame.
And it's just because the rings are bad.
Yeah, I think that's your whole problem. Is I would just get a liner, piston kit, and like basically get a rebuild kit and do all the bearings and everything while you're in there, and check your head real carefully for cracks and put it back together.
So
Rodney's saying the 4-valve heads are more robust.
yeah, which is strange because they actually have more heat in them than the two valves. But well, so in terms of cost, first you have to buy the engine. If you get an engine like this, I mean, I see them online between $1,500 and $2,000, all the way up to $5,000, coming from a Detroit diesel dealer. And so so they're pricey for the engine, and then the process of swapping it is probably about $4,000. So all in, you could be in it for $7,000 to $10,000 to do an engine swap. To do an in-frame, you're looking at 3 days of labor plus a kit, which the kits run. What were they? $1,500 to get a kit.
Yeah, I think they're $1,500 to $2,000 for aftermarket. If you want genuine Detroit, they're probably about $35,000 to $4,000.
So
and you know what? A lot of the aftermarket parts come out of the same factory anyway. The Detroit kits, they're all out of China now anyway, so there's no point in buying the genuine Detroit ones. It's not like you're getting American-made parts anymore.
I drive past that Detroit factory in Detroit a lot, the Detroit diesel factory, and I don't know what they're doing in there, but they're not really around anymore.
Yeah.
Thing I find interesting on this block is look at the bottom below the inspection ports. The ports that go across the block. That's the new logo.
Huh. So it's a newer block. Well, it's got the split manifolds, so it's got a newer style set of manifolds on it, I think.
Yeah.
But interesting. Well, speaking of exhaust, I don't know if you go back to that picture where you're looking up at the water pipe, you can actually see I've got an exhaust issue I got to deal with. There's a crack in my muffler. And I thought I could hear it a little bit while I was driving. And when it's cold, when it warms up, it goes away. So I don't know if you can get these mufflers apart and out of the bus without pulling the engine out. It looks pretty tight back there, but they must have made it so you can get them apart.
Well, I mean, you can change the exhaust. It doesn't seem like it's easy. You probably get in it through the back. Through the inside.
Oh, that's quite possible if you take that access panel out. I hadn't thought about that. I always forget about that access panel.
Yeah, and that's I've got good view on mine. My other bus, my 4101, it's very, you can get right to it, and it's everything you see right here you would see. But that's how you change out an exhaust if you have an exhaust replaced, which both of my buses need to have that done. So It's kind of like I'd love to get everything bent, get that done at the same time because it would be much easier with everything torn apart.
Yeah.
Well,
Jim Barry makes a valid point. He says, when does a rebuilt engine become an old engine again? And what was the history of that engine? He's absolutely right. If you buy an engine that was rebuilt 20 years ago without any kind of storage history or knowing how it's been treated or kept, you might be buying another engine that needs a ring job.
Well, this engine has been sitting in a shop. I know the history on it. The rebuild was done for the Peoria Bus Company, and the gentleman who showed it to me has a 4104 bus that actually he might want to sell here. He and I've been talking about it. But he got it spare just because he thought he might need a spare engine. Thinking like I do with Volkswagens, I've got probably 4 extra 1600s sitting around in case I need one. Of course, Volkswagen parts are really available, more so than I think probably is available here. These are going to get more and more scarce with the way emissions are going. Nobody seems to want to mess with Volkswagen guys because, we're crazy. But the thing is, look at the bottom, along the bottom of this engine, how it's starting to corrode.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I mean, it's been stored in a garage. It's dusty. You know, it wasn't covered or sealed in plastic, but you know, one of the valves will be exhaust valves will be open, so that'll be a little rusty. But you know, what is? I wonder why that's corroded down at the bottom where the frame is.
Yeah, I don't know. Rodney's asking how the oil pressure was in the drive home. I'm not sure if he's asking about my bus or your bus.
Well, my bus, yeah,
my bus, I had a solid 40 pounds, 41 pounds the whole way home. I think your bus was a little bit lower. I think yours ran about 30 pounds oil pressure.
no, when I was driving around town, it was at 40, pretty consistent.
Yeah, but when it gets warmed up out on the highway, it would drop down to about 30.
Which would be another suggestion: the engine's tired.
Yeah.
So does a 4104 have access in the back? Yes, it does. Scott just got done replacing an engine, a 4104 engine, and I had a chance to get into the back. And he talked quite a bit about how a lot of these custom coaches have, or not custom coach brand, but custom interiors, just sealed that back up. And he actually had to cut into a cabinet to get access to that access panel behind the, from the inside. And, so it does. It has the same design. You know, I find the 4103, 4104s to be, very similar. I mean, they made some improvements to it. Obviously, switching out the way that the transmission mounts and some of those things, but there isn't a whole lot of difference mechanically between the two. There's, some nicer new features in a 4104. They sometimes do air reverse and things like that are newer features. But from everything I've seen, they're not too different the way that they're set up. Rodney just called my name. I don't know what that's about.
Oh, he was saying he wanted to know about your oil pressure, I think.
Okay.
He's trying to figure out how healthy your engine was to rebuild it, I guess. So, but your engine, I mean, assuming the gauges read correct on both our buses, that we don't know because neither one of us have a mechanical gauge at the back. But assuming they're both correct, mine definitely has more oil pressure than yours.
Well, anyway, so that's one thing that's on my list is I probably have to drive it back down. Which is good. I mean, I have work down there. I'm doing a project down there. So, for me to drive it back down, that water manifold, I mean, it just like we're waiting for the shoe to drop as far as some of the problems it could have. But I think I could probably get it down there. I would coincide it with the time that maybe Tyler has to go down. He could follow me from Indiana down to Tennessee or something like that. I don't know. We'd figure it out.
Well, just carry the spare manifold with you just in case you got to change it on the side of the road.
Yeah, I don't see that happening, Jason. That I would probably just get a lead pipe or just, I would certainly know our way around JB Well. Which reminds me, the last video, the video of me getting from Bus Grease Monkey to home, which you and I recall as a fun time. That is, I'm posting that up probably tonight or tomorrow morning. It's actually done. I'm just putting on some spit polish on it, and then I will get it posted up. So that'll be the end of the Texas Bus Rescue series. I do have some video, I guess, of us going up to look at your bus for the first time. That I'll probably get edited and stuff like that. But
I just wanted to say,
yeah.
It's still sealed in the package. There's not one piece of JB Weld on my bus yet.
Well, isn't that nice? Where'd you go? Oh, are you showing it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good for you, Jason. I'm so happy for you. That's I can't, words can't express how happy I am for you. That. Anyway, so that's kind of what's been going on. Other than that, I think last Sunday I had just gotten back from Nashville and I'd been in New York, and so I haven't gone nowhere since the last time. I've gone nowhere since the last time we we hung out, and and that has been pretty nice. I'm trying to get my house put back together. I've got a ton of work that I've been working on because I basically was gone for 6 weeks, and so I've been doing a lot of that. The other thing, and you've seen it, but I built a homeless shelter with a
Yeah.
bunch of people here in town, and I'm still the guy who kind of runs the building. This is our crunch week. Our shelter opens actually on Halloween, on October 31st, which is a week from Saturday. And so this is the week we kind of have to put up a temporary tent, and we have to get all our
Yeah,
stuff.
you've got some significant challenges this year with COVID.
Well, we're actually building a tent in our parking lot to give some more space for our guests, and I think with that it'll be okay. The big thing is we don't want to reduce capacity because we just don't want to ever have to turn somebody away. So that's kind of where my head's going to be for the next week and a half, and then as we move into November, then I'll be getting to the bus and stuff like that. So I imagine, Scott's got a bunch of stuff lined up right now. I imagine I probably wouldn't get this bus down, at least until mid-November, between like the 15th and like Thanksgiving. My wife's birthday is mid-November, so I don't know. I'll be out traveling again, but I'm not really comfortable with COVID. I don't know where you are with it, but
Yeah, we're getting a second wave up here in Canada now, so we're starting to see over 2,000 cases a day again, which doesn't sound like a lot compared to what you guys are seeing down there, but the second wave is definitely a lot stronger, what we're seeing in the numbers so far, and I don't think I'd want to do a lot of traveling again for a while, at least until things start to settle down. And if I did, I'd want to be staying in my own bus and not have to worry about hotels and public restrooms and that kind of thing. So I think after our adventure, I'm good to stay at home for a while. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not as I guess I'm not as concerned. I just don't have a need to be anywhere, so I'm not going to be anywhere. It's been very interesting how it seems to be worse in the rural areas right now, and the city, like New York City, has really not seen a rise, but it's coming. It's coming for everybody. So anyway,
Yeah.
but so somebody was asking what's the biggest project we take on our bus on our own. And the answer is, with me, not probably a lot. I can handle a Volkswagen smaller engine. We definitely learned a lot with this, but I don't have the dexterity. I'm more inclined to find like what we did down in Texas. Maybe not a guy with a sidearm on his hip, but I'm more inclined to probably find a local mechanic, and I'm working on that now, who wants to do some work on the side. And I know exactly what needs to get done. I know how to do it. I'm not sometimes capable of just doing it myself. And
Yeah.
so
You're probably best just to make sure it's road ready for a trip down to Scott's and get it down to Scott and have him do the motor with you.
for the mechanical, I'm definitely not doing an in-frame. But other stuff, wiring, I'm a broadcast engineer, so I can definitely do that. Other things that I can do, are more of the interior work, carpentry and stuff like that. So that's the mechanical. I just want to get as complete as possible. I still have that weird thing going on with the steering, and I still am not completely comfortable. I'm going to have a mechanic up here, look at my whole front end and make sure everything is tight before I go take another trip. So those are the two things I've got on my list that are big things that I want to get accomplished mechanically. Then I'll work on lights and brakes and that stuff I can do.
Yeah. I as much as I didn't like the way the air steering rode down the highway, man, back in my bus in the driveway today, I wish I had some kind of steering assist, because it's quite the piece of work. I got to go forward and back twice to get the corner to back it into my yard here, and it's not easy.
Somebody's asking about paint. I'm going to kind of leave mine alone for a while. I'm going to probably take that red oxide off because it's staining everything else, but I kind of like the patina that's going on?
I'm probably going to get mine painted over the winter. Um, I've got a friend of mine I've done some work with. He's coincidentally a Volkswagen guy as well. We think it'll fit in his shop, and we're at least gonna spray the roof to get all the red oxide sealed in. We'll give that a good sand down, and um, probably wait till next summer to do the front and down the sides of the windows. But I at least want to get, like you, I want to get that red oxide cleaned up and stop that mess from happening. Because I'll tell you, I put 2 days into cleaning my bus, and I've only been down the one side. I haven't even got to the driver's side yet.
Yeah, I have you remember the discussion that we had? Have you found the magic formula on what takes that off without messing with the finish?
I actually wet sanded it. So I started with like a 6 or an 800 grit, and I just sanded with the grain because you can see the grain in the fluting. So I did that very, very lightly, and then I did like a 1500 grit wet sand, and that took off everything. It took off all that oxidation that's sitting on top. If you remember my bus, you could see there was 2 layers of stickers, and you could see where the stickers were.
Right.
All gone. You can't even see where they were anymore. And the interesting thing is if you remember, there was that tiger on the side of my bus as well as the Greyhound dog.
Yeah.
The tiger is gone, but the Greyhound dog is still there.
Oh,
So
that's
kind of
cool.
neat.
All right, that's cool.
And I haven't tried it yet, but I actually have it sitting in the bus here. I have some 4-0 steel wool, and that's what Mark Renner suggested we use. So I'm going to try that on the other side and see if it works better than the wet sanding.
Is that 0000 steel wool?
Yeah, 4 zeros. So
that,
4 zeros.
That's what I was going to start with. That and soap, like soapy water. So I've got a friend of mine who is pretty well known in the Volkswagen community. His name's Gibbs, and he's in Philly. And Gibbs is a professional painter. He does sign painting. That's his job. So he knows. He's told me like solvents and things that you can do to get like spray paint off and get back down to the original finish on a bus. And he is a big fan of 0000 steel wool. He said that whatever chemical you use to like take the paint off, he said that's the abrasive you should use. So I'm going to give that a shot and see.
When I wet sanded it, I literally just had a bucket of soapy water as I went.
Yeah.
And you could see it was taking off all the white oxide, and there was no black oxide. So I didn't get through any of the anodizing anywhere. And I went and hit a piece of aluminum that I knew wasn't anodized just to see what it would do. And right away you can see that black oxide coming off as soon as you hit it with the wet sandpaper. So it did a good job, but I think it needs more. So I'm gonna try the steel wool on the other side, and then if I like how it turned out, I'll come back and do this side again, because I really don't want to take that anodizing off, because then you're in for a whole world of heat hurt keeping it up later.
So somebody was asking that they're looking for a Silversides. Boy, there's a number of them out there. Some of them have sold since.
I think he said he's looking for one ready to go. Similar converted bus ready to go. Probably the one that's closest to being ready to go is the one over at Marv's.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be probably. I would agree with you. That's.
I think it's still overpriced. It's got a title issue, and it needs 6 tires and a fan hub, and
so
it's probably the closest.
Yeah. So this guy's name is Phil. Phil, you can find me at thesage.page. That's it. That's the website. Or vwsage.com, and just if you want to just contact me through the contact form there. I'll probably just have you talk to Jason, because Jason spent more time with Marv than I did, but we both spent a little time with talking to this guy, and you can make your own assessment on him. But I talked to him once and decided to kind of keep going. So anyway, but yeah, that bus is, I mean, it needs to be cleaned up a little bit, but it's, you're not looking at some of the stuff that we've done. So he thought the bus was taken down for sale. He keeps putting it up for sale and taking it down, but we know how to get it.
Well, it's funny, he dropped the price, and then he put the price back up again, so I thought that was kind of strange. Did we lose you?
No, I was just
Oh,
looking at a question there.
okay. So yeah, he was down. He had it down to 39 grand on Craigslist, and then he put it back up to 49 grand.
Well, I mean, if you ever watch real estate agents, that's what car dealers do. They try different prices because people will often do a search and put like a price criteria, price range, and
Yeah.
so they try jumping around. But I mean, if you went and waved, I don't know, $32,000 in front of that guy, he'd probably take it. He's been trying to sell that for a while, and he's a little quirky. Um, and so it's a bus. If you want something without a lot of work, you're still going to have to do it, but you're close enough to C&J, which is a bus shop in Bloomington, Minnesota. You could definitely drive it over there. It's only 90 minutes away, and those guys could do anything that it would need it to get it up to. Wouldn't you say? I mean, they would be able to get it so that it's in good shape.
Yeah, I would hesitate to drive it there because the fan hub is so loose. I grabbed it, and you could really move that bearing around.
So
like I would
even hauling it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, I would just get it hauled to somebody who could do it.
Yeah, but they're good guys, and they're pretty close.
Yeah. So somebody was asking if I was going to convert my bus myself, and that is the plan. And I am going to do the windows first. So the first thing I got to do is I got to get this thing watertight because there's no point in putting money into the interior until it's watertight. So that's my first big project, really, is to get all the windows redone. And it was raining hard enough earlier. I can actually see a puddle coming down the one window behind the seat over here. So that's definitely a priority.
Well, that one that was missing that we replaced, we put the new one in. There's no rubber around that at all now.
It's the one in front of that one that's leaking, actually.
The one that we would open?
No, I don't think we ever opened that one. It was a slider, the one we replaced, right? So it was the third one back. Yeah, it was the one in front of it that was leaking.
So, so the guy who's interested is looking in North Carolina. There is, there's a bus that's a project that's in North Carolina. It doesn't have an engine, but there is an engine, and then you'd have to have the engine put in, and it's not a bad bus, but that's a big project. That's not a, just start it up and go.
Yeah. Here's an update from the Grease Monkey. He's in Tallahassee, Florida.
Oh, is he on?
No, he just posted an update on his Patreon. He's in Tallahassee, Florida, 490 miles today.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't expect to hear from him today. He was so busy.
Yeah.
I had a chance to talk to him right before. I mean, he had just finished up that last 4104 project, and he was like freaking out how much stuff he's got to do and stuff. And he's usually Mr. Cool, calm, collected, and he clearly, you could tell he was like, there's like a lot of stuff, and I think he's nervous because his only daughter's getting married. That's a big thing.
Yeah. Well, and he did 490 miles today. That, as you and I know, that's a haul in a Silverside because we did 501 that one day.
Yep. Well,
that was a long day.
For him, he said that he can do 600. I mean, we're on a little bit of pins and needles. We weren't going as fast as he can. He's got a comfortable seat, but it's a long drive. I mean, for him, it was probably 8 hours, maybe 7.5, 8 hours.
Well, and he didn't have to stop every 100 miles and check the oil and coolant.
Yeah. So I guess to the Phil guy, if you're in North Carolina, I would try to find Russell's Diesel Service and talk to him. He's got...
Yeah, Gene Russell's got one. He was considering selling me, so he's got one. And it's already mostly converted. It's something you could probably work with, so might not be a bad idea to get a hold of Gene.
So that would be probably somebody worth talking to. Rodney's not too far from there. Rodney Middleton, who's been commenting here, he found one, but he probably got the biggest basket case I've ever seen. That guy's just got nerves of steel, because I wouldn't have done that one. And he's got it going, man. He's getting it back together. So
yeah, I'm actually surprised he's got as far as he has with it. That guy's got some serious energy.
So next week we're about done with our hour. Next week we're gonna probably have this hosted on Jason's channel, The Bus With Us. If you see his little logo over there, and of course we're on the Silversides Sage channel tonight, but Bus With Us is his, and you'll definitely want to subscribe. I'll certainly promote it, down my Facebook page and that kind of stuff. But we'll send a link over to Jason's channel, and we'll do similar to what we're doing right now from him, and we'll see how bad he screws up the beginning. But anyway, no, I think we're winding down. I don't know if we have any other questions going on tonight. I have a lot of people on. It's 140, 150. Oh yeah, you never told anybody your name. Did you mention you named your bus?
Yeah, we're going to put that in one of our videos. We kind of announced it on Facebook because we came up with a new logo. We had a local artist help us with a logo for our bus, and if you look on the destination sign of our logo, we put the name of the bus. So the name of the bus is Gus. It's Gus the Bus. So it's Bus With Us and Gus.
I heard there's another one for Blue Wolf. So now lots of recommendations. I use belly polish as a cleaner, which is an aircraft aluminum cleaner, and boy, we had tons of different comments. I still think Frogua is the best way to polish and clean your bus. That was totally missed on everybody in that thread, but little goose in there that's got some grit to it, Why don't you try that? Tell me how it goes.
I think I'll stick to the steel wool. Actually, I've got a big heavy-duty polisher back here, too, that I'm going to give a shot to after the steel wool to see if I can get it nice and bright.
Well, all right. It doesn't look like we have any questions rolling right now, but my name is Sage, and over here is Jason, and we are trying to make a habit of being on every Sunday night, 7 or 8 o'clock, somewhere in there, and just kind of talk about what's been going on. So what you got coming up this week? You're just going to work on your siding this week, or you got other things?
If the weather's good, I'm going to work on the siding. I'm going to see if I can get that other side cleaned up and get it matching the passenger side. And I don't have a whole lot of plans for it this week. Everything's ready for the safety inspection. I've been through absolutely everything I can think of that would be required for that, and everything seems to be all good. So hopefully I can get it licensed properly this week, and we'll go from there.
I am going to be busy with my shelter. I will probably start the bus up and maybe go drive down. Dan from DA Designs doesn't live too far away. Maybe I'll drive it down there. So I'll take it out for a spin, but I got a lot of stuff going on this week work-wise. So I may not have much else to tell you other than I'll make a decision on what I'm going to do to get my bus fixed. And just still sourcing stuff. I got a bunch of things coming in, seat belts and reflectors and that kind of stuff. I will probably start working on the bench on the reverse solenoid. Rodney sent us some kind of reverse solenoid. Mine doesn't work, and I'm reluctant to take mine off, but it doesn't work anyway, so there's no harm in taking that off right now and trying to mess with it on the bench and see if I can't get it to figure out.
Oh yeah, because without having a second person there, you can't really get your bus into its spot or out of its spot.
Somebody wanted to know if we were going to do. Someone has to know when the pre-war is coming home. When it's done, and I don't have a better answer than that. The most prominent answer when I ask is 2 weeks, but I think harvest is winding down, so we are getting close. So maybe I'll get a call towards the beginning of November, and maybe I'll be told it's ready to go, and I'll run down and get it, which will be exciting because that one doesn't have any of these engine problems. To me, that one's really nice. It's got other issues. Lights don't barely work, and there's some other stuff, but mechanically, it doesn't burn at all, and it runs, even though it's a 2-valve, it runs like a champ. Yeah. It does a really nice job.
Yeah, so other than that, I've got a video going up probably later tonight when we get off. It'll be a bit of an update, and it'll show you what I did to celebrate getting out of quarantine. But I got lots of mechanicals videos coming up for the bus too, so all the little stuff I've been tinkering with over the last 2 weeks, I've been accumulating footage, and I got to get caught up on processing.
Yeah, you process there, don't you? We edit here. Anyway, so yeah, I've got a video coming up. Like I said, next couple hours. I'll be posting the last video from the Texas Rescue from Bus Grease Monkey's place back to Traverse City, and that'll be that with that whole series. And then we'll go from there. I've got some other content and stuff that I've been collecting since then that I will be throwing up videos, keep things going. But we're putting an end to that chapter. So, all right, well, dude, it's 9 o'clock, and I think that's it. Have a good night. Let's see if there's lighting inside your. Oh, somebody really is impressed with your luggage, the lighting you have on your luggage racks. All your.
Yeah, it's great. Phil helped us get all this wiring working, so they're not all working. Actually, there's 2 circuits, and the second circuit's out, so only every other light works. And same with the lights over the passenger seats. Every other one works. So I've got 2 circuits to fix, but I'm just impressed that any of it works at all. I'm quite happy with it. So it actually looks better in person than it does on the video. It gives some really nice ambiance.
Well, and you'll get that figured out. There's probably a short somewhere. It's easy fix.
Yeah, I was working on exterior stuff and safety-related stuff. I didn't even look at any interior wiring, so that's probably one of the next things I got to do.
Well, we will definitely be talking about it. So I will talk to you again next Sunday. And have a great week with everything you're doing, and we'll love to hear what happens next week.
Yeah, same bat time, different bat channel.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, have a good night. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. And if you don't subscribe to my channel, hit subscribe. Chances are you probably are a subscriber. But if you just stumbled onto this, hit that subscribe, hit the like button, and then go over to Jason's channel, which I'll put in the description here in about 5 minutes. And subscribe to his as well if you haven't already, because he's doing some really interesting stuff over there, some neat things to look at. So that's Bus with us, and we will talk to you next week.
Yeah. Night, everybody.